All right, guys, welcome on in. It is Wednesday, middle of the work week. So I want to say I hope you guys are having a good day and you're enjoying your time at work, and it's almost over with for you. Today, we're going to be getting into something that's really controversial right now, and I think it's going to be an interesting live for us today because we have some things we need to talk about. For the longest, ever since from day dot, we've been, if you guys are like me, you listen to Candace Owens, we've been witnessing her call into question a lot of the narrative that the FBI has been giving us. And one thing that we all can agree on for sure, even if you do not agree with Candace Owens, is that information that we are getting from the FBI at a bare minimum is not trustworthy. It may end up being true. I highly, highly doubt it, but at the very least, it is untrustworthy. We're going to go over some of the blunders that the FBI has put out via Cash Patel. And I don't even want to get on Cash Patel right now because I can keep going for days and days about Cash Patel and his embarrassment that he's bestowed upon us, the people that was rooting for him to get in office and actually do something. So I titled this live Candace Owens, FBI Director. I feel like right now she's one of the only people that's actually doing journalism in the way that it should be done. She's not the only one. You have people like Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan and all those guys that just use common sense to say that, okay, something isn't right. But when it comes down to Candace, when she locks in on you and she get that fang in you, oh man, there's no letting loose. So Candace from day dot, she called in question the narrative that the FBI has been giving us and saying from day dot that something isn't right. And the question that I really have for you guys is that if you are a member of the FBI, first let's talk about what the qualifications of our FBI director, Cash Patel. Okay, Cash Patel, his qualifications is that he has a BA in history and criminal justice from the University of Richmond. He has whatever JD is from Pace University School of Law, so I'm guessing that's where he got his law degree or his law certification. Okay, no, certificate in international law from the University of College London. He was a former public defendant. He was a federal prosecutor, and he was a counterterrorism official. He held roles in the DOJ, National Security Council, and as the chief of staff of the Secretary of Defense. And he authored a couple things. So you would think that with all these qualifications, and now that you are the main guy, the final say so of the FBI, that you would have done a more thorough investigation than what you have done. It took somebody like Candace Owens to get up here and do the things that you would have thought that someone like Cash Patel would have done. It took Candace Owens to sit there and see that something wasn't right about the shooting, the direction of the impact, things that was going on around them, the moving of the chair, the moving of the camera. I still to this day I haven't heard anything from Cash Patel about the guy that moved the camera behind Charlie Kirk while standing on the chair that Charlie Kirk was assassinated in as tampering with evidence. Now he may have said it, but I haven't seen it. And that right there alone should raise red flags that something is off about the situation. How can you have all these qualifications as the FBI director and you are missing the smallest details that you should have seen right off the rip? If Candace Owens saw it off the rip, you should have seen it as the FBI director off the rip. So that leads me to believe that either A, you're incompetent and we thought that you were the person for the job, or B, you're doing a major cover up. And if that is the case, we need to figure out why and what they have told you or what they have on you to make you go with this narrative that we know is not true. So now as of I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. Now he's putting out a statement saying that they are investigating other avenues or all the leads that's coming in for potential leads or suspects or whatever. And that's not really good for Cash Patel and the FBI director, being that they have a person in custody that they're getting ready to prosecute by the media and by the public. And you're saying that you're still looking for leads. Now, if I am the lawyer of the defendant, I'm going to use that to my advantage and say, hey, listen, they have me, but they're still looking at other leads that somebody else may have done this. This makes no sense. And that brings up my other question that I brought up yesterday. Why did the first thing they bring up whenever they caught the assassin allegedly was the death penalty? And then you also got President Trump on TV saying that they wish that they can speed it up, giving us the impression that if they were to convict this guy, they're gonna try their best to get him prosecuted or executed fast. I think that's a big no-no, especially with all the misinformation and all the wrong think and all the videos coming out now that's saying he may just be the person that we're looking for. But we do know without a shadow of a doubt that he is not the only person. All right, so we're going to get into a video of Candace Owens releasing some of the information that she did by herself, reaching out to people that had recordings, that were in touch with the people that had recordings. Gonna find out there's a whole other person that gave the policeman and the FBI directors that was on the ground a totally different description of what he saw, and a different description of the gun, which would feed into the narrative that there's no way that that particular rifle was the rifle that hit Charlie Kirk. So let's move on over here and see what Candace has uncovered.
I had a conversation with that individual after all this running around, hence the reason these episodes take so long to put together, because you're calling people, you're waiting for responses, and what he said to me completely betrays the narrative of what the FBI has put out.
Why ain't I surprised?
Working to quadruple confirm exactly who this individual is, but he was very much, and maybe this is a poor way of saying it, a straight shooter. Said, yes, you know, I have a training. And I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with guns and knows guns and, you know, helps to train people in that sort of a capacity, and said that they observed that individual, the FBI saying that the shooter dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22. That the individual ran across, set up, took the shot, and I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage, and the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets shot. And he says, yeah, I saw the shot. I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the shot rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what the shooter looked like, and it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said, was he wearing jeans? He said, no. Actually, this person was dressed in tactical gear, and he was wearing a face mask. And he said, according to him, like I said, he has a lot of experience with guns, that this person looked to him like a foreign agent. I don't know if he's wearing all black, how he got that, but he said he was very certain that this person was skilled, knew exactly what he was doing, and was highly trained, like a highly trained assassin, so to speak. Okay.
So that begs to the question, why haven't we heard any of this from our FBI director, Cash Patel, or the governor of Utah? Why haven't we heard this? I'm gonna tell you why we haven't heard this, because they put out so much wrong information in the beginning that is either A, they know that they've been caught in the lie, or B, they put out information way too fast and it's gonna be a major blunder Firstly on Cash Patel, and secondly on the administration of Trump, because he was one of the first people to say that, yeah, we got him as well on TV. And don't get me wrong, I'm not, I know how I feel about Trump. I do love me some Trump. But at the same time, I do not blindly follow anybody's word just because they said it. So yeah, why haven't we heard this from the FBI director? We had to. Candace is a mom at home, reaching out to sources like a true journalist. She's receiving emails. She's putting together timelines. Why does it take somebody like Candace Owens, from the comfort of her home, to give us real solid evidence and information about what actually happened with the shooter? Something isn't right with Cash Patel and the FBI, and I'm sorry to say that yes, we may have picked somebody that was weaker than what we thought he was. And don't get me wrong, when we chose Cash Patel, we looked at the morals of Cash Patel and what he was presenting to us. And if we were to have that same information, put it like this: if Cash Patel was actually the person that he said he was going to be when he got into the FBI in the role of the FBI director, we would be 100% sold on Cash Patel. I'm under the impression that he got in there and he either he capitulated really quick, he was offered something, or he saw something that really, really shook him to the core, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to get on board with these guys because I don't want these issues. So Cash Patel, you get on there with Dan Bongino and y'all tell us what the actual information is about why y'all switched up so fast, because we know something isn't right.
He then says something else. As soon as George Zinn got arrested and that started circulating, he ran to someone on campus and said, this is the wrong person. I observed this person with my eyes. You have the complete wrong description. The person you're looking for is wearing tactical gear and is obviously young, because I watched him sprint back after taking the shot. I saw this with my own two eyes. And for whatever reason, that never made its way out, that we can see, of a description of a person wearing tactical gear. We're kind of left with this idea that he was wearing the now infamous veterans shirt with the American flag on it and some jeans. So he also said something that we had not heard, which is that he knows guns, and the gun that the FBI found was not the gun that he saw. That the gun that he saw was smaller. And I'm going to read you directly a text message that he sent me, again, protecting his identity. He said, watching the video of the impact, hearing the sharp crack instead of a big hunting rifle's boom, and seeing what looked like a shorter rifle platform, albeit with the absence of the shape of a standard 30-round magazine, the assassin may have used a 10 or 20-round magazine, only expecting to shoot once or twice. I would guess that he was shot with a Hornady V Max or similar lightweight 223 bullet designed for very rapid expansion. Of course, I don't have access to any autopsy reports like you might, but if they found small shards of copper rather than one large copper-coated lead slug, that's the gun and bullet I would expect was used.
All right, so
I wanted to share that because...
So let's speak about that alone, right? This is why you can I'm not trusting Cash Patel or anybody in the FBI right now about the narrative of what happened with the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk. They want us to believe that this guy firstly was walking around with this huge rifle in his pants, going up steps, took it out, set it up, and got into position to take a shot at Charlie. He took the shot at Charlie. He broke down this gun within 6 to 15 seconds, put it in his bag when it jumped off the back of a roof, ran away from the campus, reassembled this big rifle, wrapped it up in a towel, and set it down. First of all, if you're trying to get rid of the gun and the whole point is to conceal it, why would you put it back together? If it's already broken down, you have a better chance of concealing it. So why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. Secondly, if you are the FBI director, the first thing that you should have brought up was the fact that how did he break this gun down so fast and got out of Dodge? you should know that that is physically impossible. You can have somebody that has the fastest, like the most knowledge about guns and breaking down a gun, and they couldn't even do that within that time frame. Even if you paid them $1 million, they couldn't do it. So why wasn't that a red flag to you, Cash Patel? You've never spoken about that publicly. Why haven't you called into question that narrative? Why? Why haven't you, Cash Patel, or the governor of Utah? Why haven't you guys? You the one with the bachelor's degrees and the law degrees and you're a prosecutor and a criminal defender, whatever you were. Why didn't the perceived IQ that you have call into question that a person was able to disassemble and assemble, then disassemble again a rifle and get away from a scene? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you're full of shit.
Know that a part of this entire thing was our upset at kind of being taken for a ride by the FBI. It makes no sense to me that they wouldn't share those details immediately while
None.
this manhunt was taking place. We got every other name and basically every other description, and we're told nothing like what this person who says that he was an eyewitness, he was the eyewitness to this, and that he went right in and said all this information. Why wouldn't you share the eyewitness report that you received that completely counters the narrative? And I would say, again, assuming this guy's story checks out, and it seems to me that it did, and he sent us the data, and we looked at the metadata that he was the person who took that video, it doesn't make sense to me. It literally makes no sense to me that they would obfuscate these details when they're speaking to the public. So, yeah. Like I said, we are exploring every lead here, and I just found that to be quite stunning. I don't know what to make of all of this. I guess what we make every single episode is the fact that they're just lying to us about everything.
And that's what it's coming down to. They are just lying to us about everything, because there's no way that we have people on the internet with no degrees, most of us no jobs, no experience in the FBI or criminal law enforcement, but we can find out the details that they have seemed to miss, and it's coming off to be a deliberate miss. Now we're gonna get into one of the most, I'm not even controversial, because I'm gonna say this: if this footage ends up not being doctored and true, everybody in the FBI, especially the people at the top, has to go. They have to go. There's no way that you blunder something like this. From every account of what I've seen, this guy, he attached his name to this video footage. He doesn't seem to be. It actually seems like that he knows that it's gonna cause some grief and some hard times from him from putting this video out. He didn't do it anonymously at all. From what we're about to see on his video, if it is true, and everything is pointing to it being true, we have to get somebody else in there to talk to our would-be assassin that they call. I'm trying not to say his name because I don't want to give his name any power. If it, just in case he end up being the person. One thing for sure, I do think that he is intertwined with what actually happened, but I'm on the belief, in my opinion, that he is not the person that pulled the trigger. That's just my belief. And if this video is not AI and it is not doctored in any way, if this angle is true, which everything is leading me to believe it is true, Cash Patel has to go, and the governor has to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're going to have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this, but if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
And in that video you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
So you're not counting gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting and the angle of the shot. which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter.
Guys,
out.
can you? Sorry, I'm not really sure. I'm not really up to par with the YouTube's policies. I assume that if this guy was able to put this on YouTube, I can show it on YouTube. If we can clearly see that impact came from behind Charlie, the FBI director Cash Patel has to go, and everybody under his rule has to go. Now, I'm not talking about the people at the bottom, because often these guys are left out of what actually is going on, and they're just reporting on the facts that they are given from the people above them. But if this video is true, Charlie Kirk was not hit by the assassin on top of that building in front of him. There's no way possible. No way possible, guys. Hear me clearly. There is no way possible. If this video is true and undoctored, which by all accounts it seems to be very true, and that would actually corroborate the fact that Candace got in contact with the person that took that camera down behind Charlie Kirk, and he was reluctant to give her the actual footage for whatever reason, but he actually let her see it on FaceTime, and she said that what worried her was the fact that there was no blood splatter, there was no blood from that angle of him getting shot from the back. And this would explain why, because the exit wound is not coming out from the back, it's coming out from the front of his neck, entering from the back. And the second thing is, that is not a 30-06 bullet hitting Charlie Kirk. If that was a 30-06 bullet hitting Charlie Kirk and from the back of his head, going through his neck, severing his spine out of his neck, Charlie's neck would have been in pieces. It would have been shredded. It would have been shredded. Even if that was something like a 3. Do you know how big? Do you know how big a 30-06 bullet is? Impossible that was a 30-06. And that will also corroborate the fact that when Candace was just saying that the person that saw the would-be shooter allegedly described the gun to be much smaller and shooting a round that from his knowledge will be much smaller. Now that would line up a little bit more with the entry and exit wound of Charlie Kirk. One thing for sure, that was not a 30-06. And the sound experts would tell you that as well. We can go back and watch the video and hear the sound. You actually, this is what we can do. FBI directors or anybody else on the internet that's good with recreating things, go to now you probably couldn't go to that area because you would 100% get arrested if you did that. Never mind, you can't do that. But let's see if we can recreate a shot from a 30-06 and something smaller, and see if we can compare the sounds from that video to a 30-06 and see if it matches. I guarantee the acoustics will not match. I guarantee it.
The entry wound immediately after a shot. The first arc is kind of down, as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound. And then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward. That fluid then flips up in relation to that motion, so you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air. This is something that I hadn't seen to this date. I saw this for the first time late in the evening yesterday, and I decided that this needed to be put out immediately because no one that I know of is talking about this. So big shout out to my friend who actually found this and created this video. You'll see him here in just a moment, but let's just one more time look at this shot. You see bullet comes in that circled area. You have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then immediately after, you see the exit right here.
TikTok probably is not going to like this.
Pierced, and then the exit wound emerges. And again, That is not a far distance for a bullet to travel, whatever the caliber is, whether it be 5.56, 308, 30-06. It's not even a debate at this point. It doesn't matter what caliber killed him. What matters is that the official narrative is not true. Again, whether the FBI knows or not that they're lying, but this is 100% conclusive evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the head, and it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right. Now, including this little blood splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly. Also, Charlie tensing up correlates and proves that he was hit in his spine. It's a spinal injury. Any of the game that I've shot in the neck or in the high vitals where you impact the spine, the game usually drops right in its tracks because you sever the spinal cord. This is again exactly what we see with Charlie. He tenses up. His head movement also correlates with being shot in the back of the head. His head snaps forward, and then he tenses up, and you see him fade away, drop the mic, and was absolutely traumatizing video footage. And I'm sorry to.
All right, guys. I'm probably going to be one of the only people to actually show the footage on their channel. Besides, obviously, this is the guy who did it. I mean, who put it out, because I'm not monetized just yet. So if they give me some strikes, it really doesn't matter, because I'm pretty much at the beginning. But we have some questions for our leaders at the FBI that promised us that they would come in there and do a better job for us. We know that you are lying to us. Now we got to figure out why. And if any indications point to that you knowingly lied to us, we're going to try our best. We're going to do whatever we can to get you out of that position. We don't care about you being on the far right, a mouthpiece for the Republicans. We don't care about you being a conservative. If you get into a position of power and you mislead the people and you are lying to us, whether on the right or the left, you have to go. And that is one of the fundamental differences between people on the right and the left. Conservatives, we don't care about you as the person being able to do whatever you want to do. We don't condone that. We condone good people with good behavior. You can be a hero to us for forever, but whenever we realize that you are a demon and that you're not doing things that's going to be conducive to first America and the people in America, or just people in general, we cannot get behind you. So I have the question again: why has the FBI director Kash Patel why hasn't he dug into this as deep as Candace, or even a little bit, just a little bit? Don't even have to go as deep as Candace is going. Why did he not see all of this stuff in the beginning? He is the person with all the credentials. Why? Cash, you have some questioning to do. And I'm going to propose my last proposition. Whenever we find out you're lying, if you are knowingly lying, Cash, we're getting you out of there. And we want Candace. Candace Intelligence Agency is underway. And she's going to find out who are all the bad players that's behind Charlie Kirk assassination. So, until the next time, guys, I'll be back on a little bit later.